Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Mr. Speaker, and I appreciate the gentleman from South Carolina for bringing up this debate. And this is the President's budget we're discussing. When you look at this resolution, this contains the same kind of language that any resolution that's brought to the floor contains. But let's talk about what it seems like some members of the Democratic Party on the other side are so afraid to talk about, and that is what the President's budget really does. The President's budget never even comes close to balancing, first of all. So this president, who campaigned 4 years ago on reducing the deficit, on trying to bring fiscal responsibility to Washington, goes the opposite way, adding trillions more dollars of debt, mountains of debt on the backs of our children and grandchildren. And what's worse, if you look at the policies, $1.9 trillion of job-killing tax increases. And what does that mean to families? Hardworking families out there are looking at this, and they're knowing just what this is going to do to jobs in this country when you add another $1.9 trillion. And just look at one part. They love bragging about all the taxes they're raising on American oil. In fact, their budget, President Obama's budget that we're talking about right now, President Obama's budget adds $40 billion a year in new taxes on American energy. And the irony is, the president's tax increase on American energy doesn't apply to OPEC nations. So OPEC countries are now incentivized to send more oil here, but if you make it in America, it's in the president's budget. Go look at it. $40 billion in new tax increases if you make it in America. What is that going to do to gas prices that are already skyrocketing under President Obama's policies? American families out there know what that means. If you had $40 billion a year in new taxes on American-made energy, that will only increase the price that's already too high. And what's worse is that it kills American jobs, because it says, and President Obama said this in his budget, President Obama says, if you're OPEC and you're sending us oil, we're not going to raise your taxes in the president's budget, but if you make energy in America, he'll raise taxes $40 billion a year. This is the most warped policy I've ever seen. I hope we reject it and then take up the budget that we're going to present that actually puts us in balance and has good sound policy to create jobs. I yield back the balance of my time.